I'm told that I am live, so welcome. I guess today it is. Uh, what am I going to say? I'm going to say Salam alaikum, Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome, Ramadan Kareem for those who are observing, and hopefully we're going to have some fun today. It is by my clock 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time, so it is on a Monday. So it is time for some Levantine Arabic. Mahad, hello. So I see some of you are here. I'm not alone, talking into the void. So I'm excited for this. Now I found in my Hebrew live stream yesterday that it was some overlap, but a lot of new people who were not, following along with the Persian live streams that I was doing before. For those of you who are new to the channel or who are just checking this out, I have a PhD in linguistics from the University of Pennsylvania, and I speak a handful of languages. I worked for Rosetta Stone as a day job when I was a musician years and years ago. And this is where I am going to just be studying basically what I want to study. I'm going to talk through how I think about things, especially now with the PhD in linguistics, how I think about languages and talk about memorization, talk about learning, talk about analyzing, and then model some of that as I study. I was inspired a little bit by Language Semp, who I saw live streaming studying German, and I thought, I study languages, and I'm just sitting alone talking to myself. I might as well actually get some feedback, get some help, have discussion, and have a fun time. So I see some familiar names and some new names. Marhaban. Okay, so I will say right now, right off the bat, my Arabic is practically non existent. I studied for a while, but I studied Fusha, and so I can maybe approximate some of the sounds. I have some stuff rattling around in there that is completely useless for this particular uh, variety of Arabic. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about, why that is first, and then we'll kind of dive in. I also see from Hope, hello, hello to you. So I already have started on my coffee. I've made it to decaf coffee at this point. I am not observing Ramadan, obviously. For those of you who know me, and very obviously, so I'm halfway through my decaf here, but I'm going to keep my voice kind of together. So I see. Am I going to go over the basics a little? Yes. I am starting more or less from scratch here. The thing about Arabic is that much like Mandarin Chinese, there's a sort of convenient fiction that it's all one language, and it's a bunch of languages. So people talk about like dialects, and in China, there's Chinese, and there's actually 13 languages or language families. It's this macro language family. Arabic is kind of similar. So there are a lot of different varieties of Arabic. They're often referred to as dialects, and part of the reason for that is cultural and religious. With the Quran, the idea is that that's Arabic. Classical Arabic is correct, and if you are of that religion, then it's like God-given correct. What you have then is sort of in news and some publications and some like international diplomacy and stuff. There's a sort of international standard, sometimes referred to as MSA or Modern Standard Arabic, and I see some good good discussion in the chat. Hi. You have Modern Standard Arabic, which is a kind of modernization of classical Arabic, but it's not really spoken by anybody as their first language. What people speak is different varieties. And people talk about Gulf Arabic, they'll talk about Levantine Arabic, they'll talk about Moroccan Arabic, which is unintelligible to basically everybody else because of all of the sort of Berber influence and Tamazight influence and French influence and all these cool things. But everybody has their own sort of flavor of Arabic, and that's because even if even if the language hadn't changed since 600 AD, you would still have the fact of the Arab conquest, meaning that you have all these people who spoke other languages local to where they are, learning Arabic as a second language, and then that develops over time. But then you also have all of these other pressures towards language change. So anytime that you have a language, like the next generation is going to speak differently than this generation does, and that's true of everything, Arabic included. So what you actually have is tons and tons and tons of different varieties. I think I might actually pull up, if anybody, most of you have probably seen this, but there is a fantastic map of Arabic dialects that I'm going to pull up and share on the screen, just so you can see sort of yeah, Wikipedia has a great couple of things here. So I'll pull these up just to kind of situate what we're doing today. Let me click on this Wikimedia Commons. There's a ton of them. There's actually more than last time I looked. Let me get this over on my screen and go over to my studio and narrate the process of actually sharing a map. So this is, let's just blow this up. This is what we're dealing with here. This is different varieties, different regions, different varieties. And so there's a lot going on here, but this is a huge part of the world. And it makes sense that a tremendous number of people in a very large part of the world are going to speak a little bit differently. You said you hear my voice twice. I think I know why that is. Let me correct. Is everybody hearing my voice double? I'm going to correct this. It's OBS. All right. Okay. What audio device is this? Don't want that. What audio device is that? Don't need that. How about now? I'm on I think a 30-second delay, so I'll have to wait a second. Better? Yeah. Is it better? Are the yeses that it's better or a double voice? Got it. Weird. All right, let me That's hilarious. There's always something new. This is great. Let me just move things around in studio. I see Maltese absent sad, exactly. My wife is texting me from the other room. Double. All right. Hold, please. All right. You should hear me once now. And for my lovely wife in the other room, you could probably text me faster than everybody else. Better? Still? No? All right, testing 1, 2, 3. We're going to get through this. And then we're going to have so much fun. Let's see. Better, I think, coming in via text. No, not better. Let's see. Well, how about now for everybody? This should just be one audio device. I can start messing around with what the audio capture is on the other screen in just a moment. I'm getting my text messages. Less bad than it was, but it's still double. That should not be happening at this point. Happens when I switch scene. Okay. You see, we're going to have so much fun with the double voice. Sounds sinister. All right. Let me see what's going on with my audio. I have the Mac OS input capture. I don't need that. Desktop audio capture. Sure. Okay. Audio input capture should be my Rode device. And I shouldn't have any other audio here. So when I'm full screen, it doubles when I share my screen. I'll have to try again in a moment. Um, oh, I see. Let's see. One, two, three. This should work now. We're gonna try it again. We're gonna try to fix it. How about now? One, two, three. Let me know. And I swear we're gonna get down to actually talking about Arabic in a moment, but not Maltese. Fixed it. All right. Okay. Success. All right. Um, I will. I'll make a note in the description to just skip a few minutes on the replay. All right. I am so excited. What I was doing, by the way, the reason it's doubled is I have a new video coming out, and it was a little on the short end. I said everything I wanted to say in like under 10 minutes, and so I called up a friend of mine who is a producer. He does work for Wiz Khalifa. Maybe you've heard of. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. A little Arabic there, and J. Cole and others. And I said, "Can I have a beat?" And he sent me a beat, and so I was actually just shredding over that. But in order to do that, I need a slightly different mic setup. So you have something to look forward to if you watch any of my videos. There's a little Easter egg song at the end of the next one that's coming out. I see. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. I think I'm going to learn some Arabic today. We'll figure out if that was correct. All right, so I'm going to be looking at the Arabic, by the way, that's in this sort of greenish region here that's characterized as Levantine. That is because that is what is most relevant to me. That's what's most relevant to what I might find myself speaking. That is something that I'm intrigued by. That is something that is actually part of why I stopped studying Arabic. So here's my brief story time. When I started working for Rosetta Stone, I decided to start studying Arabic, and they have like very Fusha, very modern standard Arabic, and which is fine. Knew nothing about Arabic. After 2001, I had seen a rise in like anti-Muslim sentiment, and I was like, let me, learn something. So I went out, read some history books, and by the time I graduated college, I studied East Asian studies, did a lot of Chinese. But after that, when I worked for Rosetta Stone as my day job, and musician at night, I started studying Arabic because I thought, let me see if Rosetta Stone really works. And for Arabic, uh, eh, so I do recommend it for other languages. For Arabic, not so much. Now I have a bunch rattling around in there that they taught me, but learning all of the different conjugation forms, there just wasn't enough of seeing it, and it was very, very much modern standard Arabic, and so. There was a day, I mean, I did a bunch of other stuff. I have books on my shelf where it's like progressive readers in Arabic that have the vowels and you're learning all these words and everything. Obviously, I have Al Kitab fi Ta'alam al Arabiya, version 2, which was what there was back in the day, which starts with like, I am a translator for the United Nations. I didn't get much further than that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to, study and study and study and study. And it was like, I want to say 2013, maybe probably 2013. I think it was before I started grad school. That I was in a cafe in the DC area. It was Dolcezza, which is like they do gelato, they have coffee. And there's a young woman there who is a Palestinian American. She identified as Palestinian American. She grew up here, but her family's from the Levant. And she said, "Oh, you're studying Arabic. Why don't you order your coffee in Arabic?" And I think she knew. I think she knew what was going on, but she wanted to laugh, and so she said, "I said, I'm not really sure about that." She said, "No, you should order your coffee in Arabic." And I said, "Well, all I know is like MSA." And she's like, "Give it a shot." So I came at her with min fadlik, and she already started laughing, and I knew that was probably not going to go great. And I was like, "Ana uridu kuban min al qahwa," and she like tears streaming down her face. She was laughing so hard about how bad it was. And I was like, well, I know that MSA is different, but it's all Arabic, right? So like, how would you say it? And she's like, bidi ahwa. And I was like, I am done. Like I literally closed the book and I just have not studied Arabic since probably this must have been 2011 or 2013, something like that. So I'm coming back to it, but I'm coming back to it after having done a PhD in linguistics, understanding language change, understanding dialects, understanding sociolinguistics. I'm like, I feel like I can actually dig into something now. I see in the chat, a little tangential, you're a musician too. I was a musician first, and it was the bass player Christopher Hall, with whom I have co-authored a number of papers at this point, who got me into linguistics. He speaks a bunch of languages, and he said, if you want to understand languages and you want to learn faster, you should study linguistics. And next thing I know, I'm being hazed at UPenn, uh, in like syntax two, going, what am I doing with my life? We're going to be spending our time today around here. And what I'm going to be doing is using the Routledge Colloquial Levantine Arabic course. Now, I am not a Routledge shill. I happen to like their colloquial courses for some of the languages that they have. They're not paying me to say this. I do have an affiliate link in the chat, so if you're studying Levantine Arabic, I think I might make a fraction of a cent if you buy it through me. But I have been doing these live streams using using the Routledge Colloquial Arabic, or the Routledge Colloquial series. And the reason for that is that I had access to them through grad school, so that was something that it was easy for me. I've actually bought physical copies of a bunch of these, so they're making more money off of me than they should be. And so they have audio, and some of them are quite good. So that's why I'm using this. For anybody who's using something else, Pimsleur, I don't know, Assimil. I have Assimil in like French to learn Arabic. Like, they're all good. I see in the chat, crazy that you need a PhD before you can study Arabic. I don't think you do, but I think they kind of teach it weirdly. I think they're like, yeah, it's Arabic, and then people just talk it funny. And that's like if we said, yeah, it's Latin, but people just speak it funny. It's like, well, no, it's been 1,000 years. Like, it's been more than 1,000 years. It's been 1,500 years. It's not all Latin. Like, now there's French, there's Portuguese, there's Spanish. They're different languages. You can see that they're related, but they're different languages. Arabic is the same. So this is like, it's Levantine dialect. It's a different language than Moroccan Arabic. They're not the same language. They're related. They're, sister languages, but they're not the same language. So I've been using these. I use Anki, which is a open source spaced repetition flashcard software program. I don't work for them either. It's free, I believe, except for the iPhone app is like $25. I have it on my phone because that was worth it to me. If it's not worth it to you, I completely understand. You can do flashcards the old-fashioned way. You can do them. You can just not do flashcards at all. It doesn't matter. I will be doing that for this because I need the help with Arabic in particular. So I will say, and I'll model how I go about learning and memorizing here as well. I know there's some overlap. It's not going to hurt people to hear it again. And for those of you who are new here, it's going to be hopefully really helpful. In my live stream yesterday, I had somebody say, this is changing my life. So hopefully I can change your life as well. So this is the Colloquial Arabic Levantine. I'm not going to go through everything. I think that might be a copyright issue if I did anyway. But this is a taste of it, and if you're studying Levantine Arabic, you can kind of study along on your own time if you want with the book. So I have a transliteration key. The alphabet, the abjad, is usually the biggest challenge for people. Linguists in general, we don't find writing systems all that interesting. It's just a mapping of sounds. So we use the International Phonetic Alphabet. Now, I will say, this particular textbook, part of what caught my eye and part of why I was like, yeah, I'm going to do Levantine for sure. First of all, I'm fascinated by Moroccan Arabic, but this textbook is written by a sociolinguist, and it shows in like every page. And so it's actually, it's brilliant. Now, the writing system, you can learn it on your own time. It's really not that hard. There's a bunch of mnemonics that you can use for it. I'm sure there's like Anki decks for that as well. You could even use Duolingo to learn how to read and write, but I wouldn't necessarily use it for, expect it to teach you much more than that, as I see you talking about in the chat, right? It's okay. But you're going to go through like a chart like this. And what I like about the Routledge Colloquial series, they have audio, and you can map things here and hear how they sound. Now, I find the vowel discussion here interesting. That's where, different varieties differ in some ways. The consonants have changed across different varieties. So what you have is Hamza, that's the little squiggly dude, and then the line here is really an aleph. This is just something you got to memorize, but it should not be super hard. Now, here's what we have here. What's interesting to me is they say, th as in three, ja as in jealous, but then there's some discussion later. And I see, don't worry, it's possible to download this document for free online. I know nothing about that. What I know is if you want to, there's an affiliate link to the Amazon store in the chat, and whatever you do is whatever you do. So, a couple of things about Arabic. It's a Semitic language, just like I was talking about yesterday with Hebrew. It's got a root sort of templatic morphology. What that means is you have consonants, and then vowels kind of like fit in between the consonants and change what the structure of the word is, whether it's active or passive, whether it's, like what it is. The roots tend to be related to sort of a semantic meaning, not necessarily always. The roots are an abstract thing, so there's no words that are just the consonants. You have the vowels in every word. They're instantiated in actual words, but we can abstract from them this idea of usually three roots, but sometimes four, sometimes two, sometimes one's doubled. We'll get into that, I'm sure, as we go along. Now, this textbook is going to be using mostly transliteration because this is a dialect that is not, always considered to be real. It's not always written with Arabic script, but it's worth knowing the Arabic script anyway. The other thing is that there are some interesting sounds here. So you have H, capital H here, representing H with breathy voice. That is a widening of the glottis. So that's like, huh. I see in the chat, wait, is that rein? Is that uvular or velar? I believe it's uvular. We're going to get there. So I'm just kind of working my way down. We have B as in boy, T as in table. These are mostly the same for us. There's probably less aspiration. We'll find out. So like not like table, but who knows. Th, ja as in jealous, but we're going to see very quickly that different people, like if you're in Lebanon, it's going to be ja like in French, I'm told. H, so ha. X here is like cha, that's velar, it's where K and G are pronounced, but it's a fricative, it's a voiceless fricative. D, great, and then you have DH, that's like the, so voiced, dental fricative. R, he has closest, ra is closest to Spanish, R is in pero, so it's a apical tap-ish. Z, zai, zain, Z is in zebra, S is in super, sha. So far so good. And then you get these capital letters. These are pharyngalized or emphatic. What that means is the larynx, not the larynx, the pharynx is constricted when you speak. So this is something that I think a lot of English speakers hear as like angry, because we only really do this if we're like out of control anger and like, oh, my throat's tight. But it's just a secondary articulation. You hear it on the vowel, but it is a secondary articulation on the consonant that we hear from like the effects on the surrounding vowels. So it's like sad, dad, ta, va. Then you have ein, which he represents with the letter 3, or the number 3. And then rein, which is it just says the French R. I love that. So not like uvular, whatever. We get into that as we continue the textbook. Fa, kaf, which she has as G as in go. So in modern standard Arabic, that was one of the things that she was laughing at me about. I asked for qahwa, which is like MSA for coffee, and she's like, you mean ahwa? Later in this textbook, because I did read ahead a little bit, I'm not coming in here completely unprepared. The author does mention that men might say gahwa and women would say ahwa. So that's kind of an interesting sociolinguistic difference. Poondog's here. Good to see you. I see the French R and the German R are the same, right? When people say it like this, like in a language textbook, yeah, it's a uvular, like a voiced uvular fricative. The way those are realized cross-linguistically in French and German and Hebrew and Yiddish and like all these different languages is going to vary slightly, and by register if you're speaking formally or if you're speaking informally. But it's like a r sound. That's the idea. Hilariously, he has kaf as K as in kosher. I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for sure, but I think that the author may be like Israeli Arab. I'm not sure. I know that Israel has incredible faculties of sociolinguistics, and there's just a lot of like interesting stuff in here. He also like goes out of his way to talk about um, people may ask you intrusive questions about your religious beliefs and so on, and just say, you're Christian if you're Christian, and you won't be bothered. But don't say you're Jewish unless you're in Israel. And I'm like, this is an interesting thing to put in like, a chapter. I guess it's helpful for people if they're learning it. So lam, mim, nun, ha, wa, ya. And what we're going to see is some vowels here. Now, what I need to do is actually listen to and learn these vowels because I don't know them. So I'm going to open up my new edition of the Arabic Levantine audio, and I'm going to play this, the vowels.
Now practice pronouncing the vowels of Arabic. Notice the difference between short.
And actually what I'll do is what I usually do, which is open things in Audacity. And later, for those of you who are just joining or seeing this for the first time, you will see why.
Now practice pronouncing the vowels of Arabic. Notice the difference between short and long vowels. Each of the example words has two vowels. The first is short, the second is long. The last vowel does not have a short variant.
A بنات
Girls.
أو أمور
Issues.
إي بجيب
He brings.
موت
Death. Levantine Arabic has also double vowels. Practice them.
أواعي
Clothes.
بيت
Home.
So she said double vowels, but we mean diphthongs here. And what I'm getting from this, just listening to these, is that there's a length distinction, okay? And there's also what's called a quality distinction. So they have here like aleph is a as in apart, so like almost a schwa, and then a as in bad. What I'm hearing when he's speaking is that they're actually a little bit closer to one another than like if I said it like English. I have resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to have an accent in many of the things that I speak. So I'm going to try to be correct, but if it's a little easier for me to say than like try to really nail the like difference between like and like I'm okay with that. I see Amr has just joined and says happy to answer whatever. Awesome. I'm going to have a ton of questions. We might not even get into a whole lot today because this is just the beginning, but I will definitely have a lot of questions. And Poondog was here and said, what made you pick Levantine Arabic? And I think I mentioned this before you got here. It's one, I wanted to learn an actual like variety of Arabic that's actually spoken. I told a story just a moment ago about a Palestinian American woman who invited me to order coffee in Arabic. I ordered in modern standard Arabic, and she laughed me out of the store, and that inspired me to want to understand more because she said, "Okay, it's bidi ahwa," and that's basically been rattling around in my brain for a decade at this point, where I'm going, "Why is it bidi?" I don't know. I have no idea why. I know it's completely unrelated to like, Oridu, which I learned in studying modern standards. So I'm going to learn that as I continue. But it's been kind of bothering me. I see in the chat, in all fairness, vowels, especially aleph, do vary a lot, even between Lebanese, Jordanian, Palestinian, Arab. So we're going to have, this is good. This means that people are used to listening to an accent. So we have, what is this? This like classic 5-vowel system ish? No, this is long and short. Okay. We have some stuff to work with. I'm going to just continue and try to get into learning some of the language here, because I think it's more important for me to hear the vowels in context and to analyze it that way. For those of you following along at home, you can do all this stuff like translate each into the proper names in English. So like Lubnan, so Lebanon. This is where they usually teach you a lot of this stuff. Like, is that Faransa? I don't know. So if you're like, I will be doing this later. If you are learning, you should do the exercises. Don't skip the exercises. Don't sleep on the exercises. They're really good. And the colloquial series, I have learned, they're sneaky. They add new vocabulary and they teach you things in the exercises. So do the exercises. Now, what I will say, I'm going to come back to these later because I think this is probably not the most interesting thing for people to watch. But the way that I would do this is open up the, let's see, where am I? I'm in the introduction. I would go down to the answer key and I will open up Anki and I'll have one in the other. So I might have, this on one side of my flashcard and the answer on the other side with a transliteration. I'm mostly going to be using transliteration. Because I want to speak to people and I can sound things out, but I'd rather be able to speak to people. So there's a lot here on the Arabic sound system because this is literally written by a linguist. You can see here they're just doing too much. I love it. We start with linguists use the word phoneme to refer, like we're getting into an intro to linguistics to learn Arabic, which is great. They have performance exercise, which is teaching voiced and voiceless contrast. This is something that I would do in Intro to Linguistics. Like this is a Ling 1 exercise. So I'm like really, you can see I'm delighted with this book because it has, produce a sound. Now do this. Now round your lips. Now like, so it's great stuff. I see in the chat, Egyptian has more movies and media if that's your thing. I know it does. And maybe I'll make my way. Maybe I'll make my way around the the Middle East. I'll just do the whole Mediterranean. Give me, 50 years, and I'll speak Spanish and Greek and Moroccan Arabic and everything. So let's see. Performance exercises, blah blah blah. I'm gonna skip this stuff. If you're learning it at home, if you're playing the home game, you should actually do all this stuff. Then we have talking about duration, and that it's meaningful. It makes a difference. So the difference between katab and katab is a meaningful difference. They're different words, just as daras and darras are different words. Stress, they're marking with a little accent here. And thanks, Kenderslav, as a literature PhD, like I'm close reading it. Also, Marina, thank you. From Boadi, it is my wish or desire. That makes sense. I was, looking forward to learning that on my own, but I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna dismiss this from YouTube, and let's see. So Kuwait, Tunis, Libya. So what they're doing, they actually give you a way of recognizing which syllable is going to be stressed. It's about syllable weight. If you haven't done intro to phonology, then that may be a little opaque, but it's fine. It makes sense to me. Now, here's a fun thing. Note on sociophonetics, they say men, women, gender, like all like social class, economic class, age, education, all affect how you speak. And this is actually something that I am going to need to remember as I continue. So, what do they have? Thalath. Men would say as tha, but women might say as ta. And I would say ja. So, ja, but women might say ja. So a little lenition. You don't have the affricate. D is in door. So the hub and th is in the. So that's it's kind of an interesting pattern here. It looks like the th and the are ta and da for women. I assume it's probably dental, so like ta and da. Just kind of an interesting thing. It's actually like fortition, right? It's a stop instead of an affricate. So that's or a fricative. Let's see. The. is the, so that's interesting for women, and then the for men, the lam. And again, I know my pronunciation is going to leave a lot to be desired for probably months now. Same thing, the. So interesting. And then kaf here, qal in MSA. You would have hal and gal. So those are the ones I need to remember. So I sound like a normal guy. Consonant clusters are permissible in Levantine Arabic in ways that are not in modern standard Arabic. He's going to keep like talking about MSA because basically you can't avoid it. If you want to learn Levantine Arabic, you're gonna know a little bit about MSA. And he talks about root morphology as well. So this stuff, if you don't know it, you know, you got to go learn it, but we're going to see it as we continue. So I want to get into Unit 1, and I want to get into how I'm going to study this. So Unit 1, Ahlan wa Sahlan, welcome. In this unit, let's take a look at what we're going to learn. Introductions, greetings, leave-taking, cultural awareness, grammar, pronouns, and the definite article il, which is like the. So that's what we're doing this week or more, depending on how long it takes me to learn this stuff. And then we'll keep it moving. Now, what I have noticed in this textbook is like the first 4 chapters or so is all like greetings and leave taking in a way that other languages are not. Persian maybe a little bit, but it's like they get into like family relations, what jobs you have, what your title is, and there's a lot culturally around culturally appropriate greetings and making sure that you address people appropriate to their title, station, gender, job, all of these things, which means that the first 4 chapters or so are just like increasingly complicated ways of saying hello. But that's a cultural thing, right? So we need to be able to actually navigate increasingly complicated ways of saying hello. So that's what we're going to be doing first. I see from Alice, are you planning on making a part 2 and 3 for the IPA video? I am. I did a live stream for the vowels, and I kind of threw that up there. The first part for the IPA video almost killed me. So it's just really rough to do all of the B-roll and all of the footage for that. Just way harder than I thought it was going to be. So the live stream is like there in case, and you can go through my live streams and find it, and then I'll try to do a little bit more. And I see in the chat not a lot of difference between how Syrian women and Syrian men speak, although a lot of people say that about their particular culture, and then if you do it wrong, they'll notice, but they won't necessarily know why. So we have greetings, a whole discussion. The Muslim tradition stipulates if you were greeted, reply with a better greeting. Chris, if you're watching this, I think about that when people say you have a good one and you say have a better one. I think about that all the time with this. So there's a lot here about the physicality of greetings, kiss on the cheek, shake of the hand, hands on the shoulders, whether you touch somebody, whether you don't touch somebody, whether men and women like come into physical contact. This is just a really good textbook for the culture, like as you're learning it, instead of just here's a bunch of words. And that was my main criticism when I was like, trying to study stuff with Rosetta Stone, is I was getting pictures and I was getting words, and I was getting all of the words in MSA, which is very formal and polite and correct, and nobody's gonna have a problem with me speaking that way. But I could say like "Ana takallam al-Arabiyya," but I didn't really speak Arabic because I couldn't navigate even getting to that point. So we're gonna listen to the audio 1.6, and I am going to drop this into my Anki deck and talk about how I go about doing that. I see. Can I quickly explain the difference between ha and ha? So one is H. The second one, the little circly dude, that is like an H. In IPA, it's the letter H. The one that they represent in the transcription as a capital H is breathy voice, which means you actually like hold open, like not with your hands, but you loosen the glottis. So it's the difference between ha aha and ha aha. Not a lot of languages have that, so it's just something that's going to take some time. I see from Violet Beauregard. Nice. The first 4 chapters sound dope. The whole thing's just really interesting. So, okay. I'm going to open up the audio here, and what I do, let's see, Arabic stress. That's what I had before I started the live stream because I wasn't sure with the contemporary geopolitical situation how things were going to go. Then we have countries, and we have what? Greetings. This is audio 1.6. Yeah, so let me open this up. Open with Audacity. We're going to listen first, and then we are going to make some flashcards, learn some stuff.
Unit 1. Listen to and repeat each of the following greetings. Pay attention to the meaning.
السلام عليكم.
Peace be upon you.
مرحبا.
Hello.
صباح الخير.
Good morning.
مساء الخير.
Good evening.
اسمي مارك.
My name is Mark.
أنا إليزابيث.
I am Elizabeth.
حضرتك.
And you are for masculine.
حضرتك.
And you are for feminine.
أنت من وين؟
Where are you from for masculine?
أنت من وين؟
Where are you from for feminine?
كيف الحال؟
Or
كيف الحال؟
كيف حالك?
how are you?
كيف حالك؟
Hey, there it is. كيف حالك?
How are you for masculine?
كيف حالك؟
How are you for feminine?
That was a lot to go through, and I'm surprised they didn't give us the replies here. But here's some notes. First of all, from is that Jadude? I usernames people have fun with, and I then never know if I'm pronouncing anything correctly. And yes, you are correct. It should be there should be a in the response. A lot of these have the occasional typo, and that's one thing that I want to point out to people is as you're studying from a textbook, textbooks can be wrong, and it's worth having that sort of meta-linguistic, metacognitive awareness of like, wait a minute, this doesn't quite look right. So you're doing exactly what you should be doing, which is thinking about, analyzing it. What does this mean, and how is this working together? Now, I noticed, and I'm going to say this wrong, but sabah al-khair, sob bikhair in Farsi. So like, if you study anything that has anything to do with that part of the world, you're going to see an influence from Arabic. Similarly, ismi looks like, esmeman, and also Hebrew does a very similar thing as well. Anna, I don't have to even point out that ani in Hebrew is related. So there's some things that are going to be easy here. What I will point out, as far as how my brain works, is this one. I see this, and I want to over say it, and I think that's the thing that I'm going to have to do. Is you got to pronounce the sounds correctly, but we also need to like walk it back a little bit, so I'm not walking up to people like hadirtak, like it just too much. And so I'm listening to him say it, and I go, that's way more pronounceable, toned down than I expected. Now we got a couple of things. Min Wen, so that's like from where. For those of you who were following along yesterday, May Ayin, which nobody says. But this is, you can see the relationship between ata and inta, inti, so on. So this is going to be fun, and I like seeing the relationships here. So we've listened to it once, but here's where Audacity is more useful than listening to it on an MP3 or something else. For those of you, some of you already know where I'm going with this, but this is just how I'm going to learn this stuff. Once Anki opens up, I have too many monitors, so I'm trying to figure out where it is. Where are you? Okay. Oh, you're just slow because I'm streaming. All right, so I'm going to make a new deck here. I will not be sharing this deck, at least not anytime soon. So create deck. And we're going to say, not Ivrit, we're going to say Al-Arabiya. Do I have a... I'm cheating. I'm going to use a QWERTY. And I am... No, that's not right. How am I going to do this? Maybe I can't. Maybe that's not cheating. Oh, they use the letter O as the H. That doesn't look right though. What did I write? Arabida? No. What? This cheating keyboard is not actually as that looks right. Man, my first struggle in Arabic. All right, so congratulations, I've finished this. Yeah, I almost copied and pasted from you. Um, actually, is that? Oh, you know what? Let me just let me delete that deck. That's not right. I'm gonna rename it to. Can I do? There we go. We got the Ta Marbuta. All right, so I'm gonna add new cards. I'm just doing a basic and reverse card. But what I'm gonna do is find my audio.
السلام عليكم.
Pay attention to the meaning.
All right, and I'm going to delete the part that I don't need. I'm going to select all. I'm going to go to analyze silence finder and find all the silences. One of the things that's been really, really enjoyable for me, I see Violet mentioned this in the chat, is that every live stream I've done, there's native speakers who just provide really helpful information and feedback, which is wonderful. I'm really grateful to all of you for that. So I did a silence finder here. It found all the silences. What I'm going to do now is File, Export, Export Multiple. I should create a folder. So let's see. Let me choose. I do not want it on the colloquial Hebrew. So I will do, let's do here, new folder. This is going to be Arabic. Oh no. That's what I get. Arabic audio. I'll probably change it to Arabic Anki audio, but doesn't matter right now. And I'll say track, what is this, track 6? Track 6. Track 6 split, open, export, and I have a bajillion, not a bajillion, but I have a few pieces of audio here. So let me find it somewhere. Arabic audio, track 6 split, and I have
السلام عليكم.
Assalamu alaikum. So I'm going to add that. Let me do, what is the translation there? Peace be upon you, right? Now, I probably don't need a mnemonic for this. I probably don't need a lot of work to remember this, but I'm going to just do the whole process so you see it. I'm just say, I'm going to transliterate and see what I get. I bet I get a stereotype. Did I mean that? Sure. I don't get a stereotype. I do get a stereotype. I was expecting, let's say, Arab man saying hello. We can trust any of these. I'll take the first, whatever. So, peace be upon you. Let's say he's saying salam alaikum. And have a little mnemonic for it. I have an image. I like to do English and an image, and then I will copy the transliteration. Assalamu alaikum. And I'm going to now add the audio. And that is how I do this. You may find other things work for you.
السلام عليكم.
Some of you may say you didn't use the Arabic script, and that is fine. So this is the way that I go about doing this. And I think it's pretty good. It's been pretty effective for me. I see in the chat, good stuff in the chat. Let's see. Spanish and Italian, having looked into Arabic. Okay. And then, so it says Hebrew is interesting since our understanding of it depends a lot on Arabic cognates. Yeah. And then learning a dialect would be tough since it's not really coherent. They're internally coherent. It's just, language change. So let's see. What do we have? Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be upon you.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. I don't need that.
مرحبا.
Marhaba. That was what here? Hello. Hello. I'm just going to take it real easy with this one. Marhaba, marhaba. Add the audio.
مرحبا.
I don't think I need an image for that, so boom, done.
Hello.
Hello. Deleted. I don't need to keep this audio.
صباح الخير.
Good morning. Now, I don't know how to get like really good images for this. I mentioned naughty mnemonics before. I'm probably not going to be doing that for Arabic out of respect. But I also don't want to do like the same usual stuff. So good morning. And of course you get exactly. So let's see. A man saying GIF. No. Good morning Monday, man. I'm struggling. Mango. Okay, man saying good morning. Legit easy. Okay. Just for good measure, let's see what we got. If I say Arab man saying good morning. Oh man, I knew I'd get stereotypes. Okay. This guy's got breakfast though, so I'm going to do this. Oh man, the internet is a source of definitely stereotypes as well as countering them.
صباح الخير.
All right, what do we have? Sabah al-khair. So, sah, bah, bah. He kind of says not sabah. He doesn't say sabah. Al-khair. And I do love that everything, French, transliterated, Hebrew transliterated, Arabic transliterated, everything looks like Klingon.
صباح الخير.
All right, let's drop that in.
صباح الخير.
That one has the longest name. That's fine. And what I'm going to do is review these. Now, I find that just making the audio in the first place
Good morning.
often is enough, like just making the flashcard.
مساء الخير.
But sometimes I have to actually study them. So let's see. Good evening. Masal khair. Sounds like they're contracted, right? Can somebody who actually speaks Arabic let me know? Is it il khair or is it masal khair? Zevel, welcome. I'm still doing Hebrew on Sundays, so I'll see you. Yeah, you missed one day, and I switched languages, doing Levantine Arabic. And let's see, yeah, Roman, Levantine Arabic. Lower time of the slow mode. Zevel, I don't know what you mean. With lower time on the slow mode.
مساء الخير. مساء الخير.
You just mean doing the Masal khair. Okay. Sabah khair. Oh, Patrick, interesting discussion there. Yes, and good to see you, by the way. So yes, so I mentioned this in my live stream yesterday. Modern Hebrew, Hebrew's been continuously used and used as a lingua franca, used for writing, used for legal discussions, used for all sorts of stuff. In the development of modern Hebrew, especially for like dealing with things in the modern world, one of the approaches that people took was when there wasn't a word, instead of like borrowing from English or French or whatever, they would look at Arabic and say, this is a language that is a sister language of Hebrew, has a similar system with the triliterate root system, and so what are they doing? And yeah, I think it's it's kind of an interesting way of going about it. So Arab men saying good evening. They're having coffee. I don't know. They're getting all the same photos. All right, this is pushing the boundaries of things because there's not like, there's not a lot to differentiate these. That's all that important. So I'll just keep the audio and keep it moving.
Good evening.
اسمي مارك.
Ismi Mark. Sounds like it's actually the glottal stop there. Ismi, He's he's really emphasizing that. The S. Ismi. I don't know if that's accurate. My name is. I'm gonna get a name tag. Here we go. It's fine. And people ask why I use the images. The images just create more neural pathways. They're just a helpful way of actually learning something. I don't know why it should be the case,
اسمي مارك.
but I find
اسمي مارك.
personally too that I really do learn better when there's an image involved. It doesn't matter, like if the image is vaguely related, I learn better. Let's see. I think it's. Oh, Zelva, you're saying can't comment more than one in a minute. You know what? I agree. If you're still here, yeah, I will lower it. The first live streams for Hebrew and Arabic, I thought maybe let me slow things down. I think I made it so only subscribers can comment. You have to have been subscribed for a certain amount of time. Like, I was being very careful. I'll just go fast and loose with language and the live streams and everything from now on, because I
My name is Mark.
have a really good group of people who show up. So, you know.
أنا إليزابيث.
All right, I am Elizabeth. I bet there's a good. It's gonna be the Queen, isn't it? It's gonna be the Queen. No. I'm going to use I am Elizabeth. Because why not? Anna Elizabeth. And I'm going to try to actually pronounce things as closely as possible to how they pronounce them. But, you know, I have to modulate, figure out finding my own voice. But this is how I'm going to have to do it.
أنا إليزابيث.
So I'm not trying to, you know, mimic in a way that's in any way, you know. I feel like sometimes
أنا إليزابيث.
we try to mimic accents. I felt this way with Persian as well, where sometimes it might feel like you're mocking, and definitely not. So I see Mr. Jones, Habibi, how far will you take your Arabic? Are you going for fluency? I'm going for getting around, being kind. If I get to these first, you know, 4 chapters and I can actually say hello to everybody in all situations, I'm going to count that as a win.
I am Elizabeth.
But yeah, it's mostly just, you know, let's go through. I'd like to be able to communicate with people. I don't feel like I'm going to be, you know, giving a lecture in Arabic at any point.
حضرتك.
But you know, why not be able to be polite? حضرتك for a. What she's going to tell me.
And you are?
How does that? So I understand that it's clear here to me that the suffix, the ak is masculine and the ik is feminine. But what is hadirt? What does that mean? What's going on there? Somebody tell me, please, because I have no idea. So, and you are, and this will be hadirtak. It's possessive. Okay, so you're hadirt. What is that? What's the first part? That's what I'm trying to understand.
حضرتك.
Hadirtak. I feel like I'm affricating that too much. Hadirtak.
حضرتك.
Hadirtak. I can tell you I will not remember this when I see it come up on Anki again. I see from Amr, I'm realizing that's Amr, isn't it? You personally don't mind people imitating accents or taking from our culture. I don't know any Arabs that would mind either. We get a kick out of it. I think it depends on where you are and who you're interacting with and what the situation is. So, like in the United States, a lot of people get
And you are
get harassed, and I want to make sure that I'm not
for masculine.
playing into that.
حضرتك
But I definitely appreciate what you're saying. Also, is it here? It sounds almost like
حضرتك
Hadırtek. It sounds like ek. That's interesting.
حضرتك
Let me do. Hadırtek. It's sort of in between. And you are? Let's see. Okay, yeah. Zevel. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And you are
Okay.
for feminine.
For feminine. Here we go. All right. I'm going to finish this out, and then I think I'm going to call it a day because
أنت من وين؟
this is a lot for me. It's slow and steady wins the race, and right now I'm going to try and digest this. I'm looking at some of the answers here. I don't see them. They're not in the audio, so I got to learn like sharafna and all that stuff. But I'll get there. Inta, what did she say? Inta min Wayne. Is there actually an H there? Somebody tell me. I don't think there is. It's inta, not inta. Inta min Wayne.
أنت من وين؟
I don't hear an H. I think that's a
أنت من وين؟
artifact of the script having a HE kind of tamarbuta kind of thing. Alice said, why are the flashcards in the Latin script, by the way? And the answer is because, one, this is a non-standard dialect, aka a different language, and two, it's easier for me to learn it this way. I can already read, so I don't need to add an additional level of difficulty. And I have done this for everything with Hebrew, with Persian. The reading is not a hard thing for me. If you want to focus on reading when you make your flashcards, definitely do them in the script. But for me, I'm not going to be typing except for on a keyboard where I can see the keys anyway. And reading, I'm not super worried about. So, this is just the easiest way for me to do it. Let's see if I can do a picture for where you from. Where are you from? This is terrible, but I'm going to just keep trying. Arab. See if I can get that's actually a decent one. Like in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a picture of the Middle East. And I see in the chat no H. Zevel talking about Egyptian Arabic in the chat, saying please correct me. I can't be the one to correct you because I don't know. This is like I am out of my depth with Arabic.
Where are you from? For masculine.
أنت من وين؟
So inti. So I'm noticing a pattern here. Inti min. Oh, that's not where I want to say. Where are you from? And because I already have the mnemonic for the image for the other, I don't need to worry about that. So inti min Wayne. Inti min Wayne.
أنت من وين؟
Inti min Wayne. It sounds like he's like, and you?
أنت من وين؟
I got to be careful and over feeling like I understand what the prosody actually means, because that's cross-linguistically different, and it can be easy to fall into traps of thinking I know that like inti min Wayne is different than inti min Wayne.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
For feminine.
For feminine. Okay, so delete those. We're almost done here. Almost done.
كيف الحال؟
Kif il hal.
Or.
كيف الحال؟
But he says Kif is more urban. I'm more urban. So I'm going to say, how are you? And I'm going to learn it as, I don't know why they put a stress mark on Kif il hal.
كيف الحال؟ كيف الحال؟
How are you?
كيف الحال؟
Kif is going to be how, and hal will be, I'm assuming, like your health or your well-being, your general business. I'm going to get rid of كيف الحال.
How are you?
Don't need that.
كيف حالك؟
That's the same thing, but instead of how's the situation, it's how's your situation. كيف حالك?
How are you for masculine?
كيف حالك؟
كيف حالك? كيف حالك?
كيف حالك؟
كيف حالك? It's almost there. That's helpful. And حالك.
كيف حالك؟
How are you for feminine?
Okay. I'm gonna do.
كيف حالك؟
How are you? Well, I don't. You know what? I did that already. كيف الحال? كيف الحال? Which seems like it's gender neutral, so that would be the one that I should just use. Let's see. Hal pretty much means state. Yeah, okay. Does he upload his decks? I don't generally. I think the act of making them is what is the most useful. And just all sorts of discussion in the chat. Okay. That's what I wanted to cover for today. So that's a lot, and in the coming weeks, I'm going to continue. I will probably be studying on my own, and then we might dip into chapter 2, chapter 3, and I'll say this is what I learned in the middle of the week. So for those of you who already speak it, it's not going to be just a really slow slog, and for those of you who are learning it, you're not reliant on me, to I guess finish doing this. If I'm doing this in live stream format every time that I study, then it's going to take, once a week. It'll take us like 3 years. So we're not going to do that. Yeah, I'm having fun. I got to say, I mentioned I was a little trepidatious about both the Hebrew live stream yesterday and the Arabic live stream today. And I am tremendously relieved. I wanted to do this in part because I think that, learning somebody else's language is a way, and learning the culture that goes with the language, which this textbook is very good about, is a way to build bridges, and that I have never really been harmed by this. I found that like the more you learn about somebody else's language, the more you learn about somebody else's culture, the more you show respect to other people, the more we can find common ground, and the more that we can actually build bridges and make friends everywhere I go doing this. So it's something that, because of social media, because of the way the world is right now, I was a little concerned. And I got to say, the last couple of days has been really, really good. It's been a really pleasant surprise, and I'm looking forward now to next week and the week after. Now, next week I may be busy with a surprise that I will probably discuss on the channel. I may have to move things around for Sunday and Monday. But I plan on keeping these basically a regular Sunday and Monday, if I can. And otherwise, I'm definitely going to be studying the languages. I'm definitely going to be live streaming. So I'll try to be good about updating when and where and how and all that stuff. I'll put it on Instagram. I'm no longer active on X. Blue Sky. I'll try. Leave me a comment in the chat, by the way, and anybody who watches the playback, leave me a comment if you make it this far, with what I should make my name on Blue Sky, because somebody, and I think I know who it was, somebody is squatting on the username Language Jones, and that's fine. They can have it. But I've been thinking about different usernames. I like the idea of spelling language with a typo and Jones with a typo, like the typos that everybody always makes in those words. So Langagey Joanes. Yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think I should do. Lingy Joe. I don't know. I'm figuring that out, and then I maybe will get back on sort of microblog social media. But it's a changing media landscape right now, and I'm trying to figure out where I fit in on that. And I think everybody else is as well. So yeah, for those of you observing Ramadan, I hope you're having an easy fast. For those of you who just observed Purim, I hope you're recovering from your hangovers. For everybody else, I hope you have a wonderful week. And I'm gonna Oh, my wife is texting me. Like and subscribe. I got a text on my smartwatch where my wife is like and subscribe. Yeah, I think for those of you who haven't, who've commented, you've already subscribed. But if you haven't, if you like it, like and subscribe. Share with a friend. I didn't put any ads in this one. I'm gonna have to do some ads at some point. But what I'm thinking about doing is warning you guys, and then hitting it, doing a short ad, and then not actually continuing to talk, because I had it set up. The default setting is for it to just play mid-roll ads while I'm talking on a live stream, and then you miss 30 seconds of whatever I said, which is understandably really frustrating. So yeah, I see Alice Jones talks. Oh, I like it. That's for social media. I like it. All right. I'm gonna wrap up. I see some of you have already wrapped up. So thank you. Have a wonderful week, and somebody tell me how to say goodbye in Arabic so I can leave ma salama. Right. I think I can do that. I haven't learned goodbye yet, so I think that's right. Ma salama. Until next time. Be kind to one another and have a wonderful week.